Hi there, everyone. Welcome. Thanks for joining. This is going to be fun, I think, for me. I'm jumping on a hashtag that was originally created by Miss Kulala's Mystical Musings, Carla. Now, it came to my attention because I was watching Moonrain Magic, and she did a VR to this hashtag and to Carla. So I'm jumping into, and this is about showing how I read for the querent, and I've chosen 5 questions and 5 methods, but I'm just going to pretend that the querent is sitting across from me and they have come with these questions. So this is my simple setup that I would use at a fair and try to answer the questions for as many people as I can. And in order to do that, I have my timer here that I set for 5 minutes. I have my trusted deck here, and let's just jump in. The first question that my querent has come to me and asked me is, I feel lost, I feel disconnected from my purpose. What steps can I take to realign? And this is where I would say, have a seat, let's spend 5 minutes together, and let's see where you're at. Because I like the Celtic cross for this reason, and I'm going to pretend this is her shuffling the cards, and she is about to put that heart and soul into it. We've probably done our bringing of the white light. We've asked her ancestors to come in, and she sits for a moment and she shuffles the cards, turns some in reversal, and then she puts them down and we begin. So I'm just going to set the timer here and away we go. So the situation, that you're a very emotional person. If you're feeling disconnected, maybe you need to get back to the heart of what makes you tick. There is a message coming through from you, and it might be from a younger person or a newer way of thinking and approaching things. If you're feeling a little bogged down and you're feeling stuck and you're feeling disconnected, find ways, especially if you are a water sign. That's the Queen of Cups, and I would be thinking that you're very much a person who feels things and feels things deeply. And maybe it's difficult for you to get those feelings across. Finding words are somehow blocking you at this time. And that might be the disconnect, trying to bring something emotional into verbal. And if you're artistic and creative, I can certainly relate to that because we feel things when we create. And trying to express it to other people or have them understand it is somewhat difficult. The root of the matter that things are going to be changing for you rather quickly. And change is good. Changing your thought pattern is good. New ideas coming forward are good. Tens, that tells me that you're ready transforming. You're already transforming, I should say. And that's a major arcana. So there'd be some major issues for you that you're going to have to not only feel your way through, but use some logic and reason to get you through. All right, sorry I have to go fast, but we got to get this out. So what's come to pass is that you're feeling a little bit displaced, definitely. There have been some times that you feel unbalanced, but some of those have been sort of those aha moments. And whatever you were, finding yourself in, it's good to disconnect from things that no longer empower you because you've got 2 majors here. This is sort of a quick change. There's going to be sudden changes. And you're facing those changes. You're looking right at it. And here, this one above you tells me that you might have the support of a man who's very creative, a little bit more maybe adventurous than you, and he's a doer. You seem to sit and think about things where this person actually gets it done. But the 2 of you working together can be fantastic because you can bring your creativity to the table, and this person here can make it happen. So he's a great person to have close to you. And this one tells me that there might be some difficulties with dealings with other people. Fives for me are conflicts. Or it can be that these are sitting in the back of your mind, all these creative ideas that you want to bring forward. And because it seems to me that's how it's sitting. You're looking at your feelings and your emotions, and it's how do I bring this to fruition? And it's interesting that I covered the head of the Page of Swords there, and that tells me that it is really difficult to get your ideas across. So let's put this underneath here and snuggle it up to you so that you can actually find a way forward. Now, when we do this 5 minutes, $5 at a fair, it's as much information as I can get out at a time. And we have about 54 seconds left. So, how you see yourself at this time? That you have had some accomplishments, that you do like to be on the winning edge, and you do like to tap into that fire energy, and you do like to have support of other people. So this disconnection you're feeling might be the fact that that's on the horizon for you. But the root of the matter is you need other people to back you up. You need the support of other people. And you like it when other people, say nice things about things that you're working on. It's almost like you need to have that validation. Okay, 7 seconds left. How other people see you? Very strong, very passionate, very creative. So we'll just finish this one off saying that you've got a lot of majors going on here. The cup is the only one in the center, and as I say, I think that's you. And you just got to find your way to turn some of these things around. Take the support of this gentleman here. He's got your back, and he knows you because it looks towards the past. So I've got to leave that there so that we can get on with the rest of the reading. Thanks for being patient with me as we quickly do this, because that's when the answers come out. So I'm just going to pause right here, and we're going to go on to the next question. Now, before we go on and I clean this up, I wanted to say that I listened to the client who doesn't like to see nudity, and those cards were taken off and put to the side, and this was enough information for us. Okay, we're going to see how this deck works. I haven't spent a lot of time with it. This is the Steampunk Tarot, and these are the cards. Now, I have taken a little time because I knew the questions ahead of time to prepare for this client. And I would like them to shuffle the cards, but they're not sitting here visually. So I am, and I'm reversing. But as I'm shuffling, I'm asking the second question. Let me get that here. So it is, I just found out my partner has been unfaithful. And for that word, I'm just going to turn a few cards upside down so we can look at the challenges of the situation. And the client might be asking, what do I need to know to decide whether to stay or leave? And I just have to say my phone is good for about 20-25 minutes. So I got a boogie here. So the partner has been unfaithful, and we need to know, do I stay or do I leave? So if you stay, we're going to talk there, and if you leave, we're going to talk there. And we'll just keep pulling a few cards here. Okay. If you stay in this relationship, you're going to have to, this is a tough one because the Knight of Cups herself can be a little bit wishy-washy. They're very much the dreamers. And it looks like you're on a path here where you have an idea or a feeling of, you might have to try a new pathway. And if you leave, There's going to be some struggles, definitely. Fives are struggles. And there may be other people involved that, you're listening to and they have their own opinions. But I would suggest to really look at the situation yourself and not necessarily take into consideration what other people are saying. If you stay, then you can keep that sort of security that you have with the Four of Wands and celebrate the fact that things can look good on the surface, seem good on the surface, but how stable would it be? If you leave, there is some of those sleepless nights ahead for you, and some of those feelings or questions that, where did I go wrong? And you're going over things over and over again, and it's not healthy. But maybe during the daytime you could work some of these thoughts through instead of leaving it till the evening, because it seems overwhelming for you. And if you stay, well, you've got 2 pages here, and the head is down. Usually this is creativity and an eagerness to try something new. So maybe, excuse me, maybe there's a way for you. Like she's standing on these cracks here. And to me, that tells me that things are not perfect. The sword facing down, things are not perfect. The Page of Wands is usually adventurous. So if you stay in this, there might be a new approach for you. And I'm just going to pause and take a little drink of water. Now, it may be that just the relationship needs a little bit of time apart. So if you take that time apart, you're dealing with the Knight of Swords, and it is a burst of energy, but usually there's an awful lot of anger that goes along with the Knight of Swords. There's hasty decisions being made. I get the feeling that it's cold. There's not a lot of warmth. So it might be that taking a little step back or a break is not going to work in this situation. You're either in it or you're out. And to me, these almost look like opponents. One who has passion and still has their eye, sort of looking up, in that there may be possibilities if we can just, get the fire and passion going again, where the Knight of Swords is saying, no, I'm out of here. There's clouds and confusion. There's coldness, and this person is dressed for duty. And it's delivering to you, I think, the answer of it's just not going to work out at this time. And to step away, sever the ties for now, and as we saw in the previous display of cards, that things will happen. Things will happen fast. And be ready for change, and things that are not built on a solid foundation need to change. So I'm going to leave that question there for now. Now, I chose question 3 for me, being, why do I keep attracting unemotionally unavailable partners, and how can I change this pattern? So I'm thinking, if the client came to me and I knew these questions ahead of time and I could prepare, I would probably bring this deck forward for them, because if you're attracting unemotionally unavailable partners, you have to also be looking at yourself and changes that you can make. And we already saw in the previous reading that there was a question in the air about, do I stay or do I go? Do I stick in the relationship? Do I let it pass? And there seems to be that carryover of that unemotional, unavailable partner. So then I begin to think that maybe the client, if I was reading for her at this time, maybe I could be suggesting, be aware of yourself. This is a great little mantra oracle. It's available for $20, and it might just help you get in touch and give you some of those quiet moments where you can feel. You're very much a cup person, a feeling type of person, and you need to get grounded again. And I'm just going to read you a few things from the book. I'd love to show you more and the backs, but there is nudity, and YouTube has been on me for that. So I'll just, expand in here if I can. There we go. So I would be suggesting my client do a little bit of self-searching. And some of the questions that come up in the book, there's quite a lot to be had in here. I would read it to them, and I'd probably make a photocopy of this and this page and let them take it with them. Are you aware of yourself? Are you in tune with your emotions, with your physical sensations and those dull pains? Are you aware of the thousands of thoughts running through your head every time you blink? This card demands that you stop running away from the truth to amplify your own presence. It is time to feel the moment. The only way to set emotions that are stagnant back into motions is to feel them. This would be a time I would suggest for them to begin to listen to their bodies, listen to those feelings, and pick the easier of the two chants. And that one in this one is the earth is, the ether is. And then there is Guru Ram Dai. And I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but this would be something that I would encourage my client to do. Spend some time reconnecting. Do the chants. Work your way through them. And in the book, it suggests stop running away and vibrate at your full presence. And I think that is marvelous, and that might just help my client. So that is that question. Now, at this point, we're on to her next question. And I always tell people that you may not have enough time for all the questions that you have, but let's see what we can do. So I've brought my teacup cards forward, and the next question I chose, or we're pretending my client chose, what's blocking my self-confidence, and how can I begin to reclaim my power? So I would turn to my teacup cards because they can dig in, they can shuffle, they can pick the ones that they want, and there's visual as well as words. And we can really, grab a little handful. I'd let them shuffle them, and then I'd ask them to put them on the table in front of me all the time, thinking, what's blocking my self-confidence? How do I reclaim my power? And I don't worry if the cards are upside down or whatever. And we're ready. So, first card coming out, that there are opportunities waiting for you. If there have been closed doors, they're about to open. And open to what? I guess ways of grabbing new adventures and feeling that you're not stuck and building that confidence up again. And with that door being this way and opening, that also moves you forward. And you do get a little more confidence once people start listening to you and opening those doors. Let's move that in a bit. There we go. And that looks like a special door. And if you've got two doors opening to you, there's a new path on the horizon. And that goes along nicely with this one, an announcement. Somebody may have something to share with you. When you've got the bell, it's a big one. So there's going to be some big steps forward for you. And when the bell goes, it's almost like an alarm. And you're aware of the possibilities. And that builds confidence. and you will be taken care of in difficult times. So you are in a sort of a difficult patch here, and you just have to wait for the door to open. Keep your eyes and ears open. There is something coming, and you will be taken care of. So let that one go. Okay, the fifth question that my client might just have. Keep bumping the table here. It's a tiny little table, the one I take to the market. She's asking, I have two paths ahead of me. How can I best choose the ones that's, for my highest good? And when I think of two paths and having to make decisions, I think of Alice in Wonderland. And I chose this deck to bring a little, I think the word is brevity, a little bit of lightness as we finish up our reading together. So I've got the cards here. This is Alice in Wonderland. And what better way for us? So two paths ahead of me. How do I choose? Well, let's do one for, that one wants to go here, and we'll put one here. So two paths ahead of you. Which one do you choose? Look at this little guy. He's thinking, I don't know. It looks like a creative adventure to me, and I got this rock. I just need to step up and take it, and take that wand and decide what I'm going to do with all that creativity. Like his eyes are just bugging out here. And then you have the High Priestess. So this is one who sits very quietly. This is one who's up for adventure. So you have to decide. Do I want to tune into me a little bit more? Because I can have two paths. But it's hard to be the quiet, intuitive person when there's a part of you that wants to be more adventurous. What feels right is maybe just sitting with it for a bit. Two is like a doorway, but the page, that's messages to go, in my mind. It will take some strength on your part to tap into that inner voice of yourself. And this one, the Four of Swords, is you can't go for raring because this guy's, ready, eager. He's got the path before him, and you got the Four of Swords, the one who's very discontented and needs a rest. This is a tough one. I think you need to sit still for a little bit. Consult that inner voice within you as to what you really want. And then, put these feelings of, I can't do it right now. I'm a little bit sad. I need to rest and retreat. You can only retreat for so long into this High Priestess nature, which is, very quiet, very still. You need to balance that out a little bit, and you've got the two there for balance. So what better way to balance it out than to plan a little bit of adventure? And if you still want to be working with this high priest feeling, stepping into it, exploring it, then find someone who has some more creative, passionate ways of doing so. Maybe you're just a little bit stuck doing the same old. If you're a wand character, you can get fired up. So find someone, maybe in your community, who can fire you up. And the pages are messages. You just need new thoughts and move yourself forward. I hope that helps a little bit. This is how I read, and it's usually quite quick. When there's another person across from me, yes, it does slow down a bit because we have an interaction. And for me, that is the best, to have that person sitting right across from you, sharing what they feel, what they see in the cards, and getting their own intuitive hits. So I thank, the creator of this hashtag. I think it's marvelous. And it really got me thinking outside of the box. So thank you, Miss Kulala Mystical Musing, Carla. I haven't talked to you on the internet, but I hope to one day. And I hope you've all enjoyed this. And I won't occupy any more of your time with my make-believe readings, but it was fun. So I'll catch you back here again. This is Lori from Craggy Brook Witchery.